Hey everybody, we got word last night that our Model Y Performance is going to be due in next week. So today we're going to install our Tesla wall connector. We went on the Tesla website and got two quotes from electricians as they suggested. One was $6.99, one was $6.25. Being a contractor, I have some experience with electrical, and I went out and did some research and I found out that the materials for this are about $50. The 60 amp breaker cost me $25, and then I spent about $24 on the three wires we need in the connector. So today we're going to put it in. So here's the charger. We got this about a month ago and we've been planning to put it in. So we're going to put it right underneath the electrical panel. I'm going to do a cut-in box here that I'll show you, and then we're going to mount the charger right here. They recommend putting it higher, but it makes it more complicated on the install, having to run conduit, surface conduit on there. So I'm going to mount this thing right here so I can still get into my panel. And you'll see the charger comes in two pieces. So if I have to take that screw out of the electrical panel, which I might not put back in, you just pop off the actual charger and the bracket will just sit here so that I can take the panel cover off. So let's get to it. So the wall charger comes with pretty good instructions, and the first thing they tell you to do is find out where you're going to mount it, find out where you have a stud, which I have it right next to the electrical panel coming down, and then they tell you where to drill. So you need a 5/32 to drill out the two connector flags that will go in to put the connector on the wall, and then you'll need an 1 1/8 bit hole saw to where the wires are going to come through into the connector. Okay, so we got the two 5/32 for the lags drilled. Now we're going to drill the 1 1/8 hole saw for where the wire is going to come through. Okay, we're over here at the electrical panel, and luckily I have two spots left in my main panel, so I don't have to do a sub panel. Even though all the spots are full, there's only two of us living here in 1,700 square feet, so there's more than enough load capability in this panel for what we're trying to do here. We're putting in 60 amp breaker right here. So I'm going to take the cover off, take the knockouts off, take the knockoff out of the bottom, and then we'll catch up. Okay, we got the panel cover off. We got the main off, so when you're working in the panel, the bus bar is all dead when you shut the main breaker off, but that's hot where the power comes into the panel, so stay away from that. What we've done now is I've marked out where my connector is going to go so I can mount it on a stud right here, and then I've cut in a pop-in box right here. So the next step is I'm going to get my 60 amp breaker in, run the wires down and out of my box. I'll leave the 60 amp breaker off, and then I can put the panel back on, because it's hot in here in Tennessee in September, the house is getting warm. So we'll turn the panel back on, put the panel cover on, then I can just work the wires through the connector. Alright, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use my ground wire. This is just a bare 6 gauge wire that I'm going to put into the common and ground area on the panel, and then we'll run the hots. Okay, we got our ground connected in here to the panel. Next step is I've wired up the 60 amp breaker. Lowe's didn't have any black wire, so I got two reds. I've just marked one black on each end. Doesn't matter, this is single phase 220, so it doesn't matter which is which. So we're going to just pop the breaker in now. This is a square D home line. Put the two dogs in and snap it in. There we go. Now I'm just going to take the two hots, run them back through, put them through my cutout box, and then mount the cutout box in there. That way, if we ever leave and take the connector with us, the wall connector with us for Tesla, we can just put a blank plate over this and be good to go. Get our 60 amp breaker back in. We're able to turn the power back on to the house, the main power, The only thing off, make sure you have this breaker off or you're going to get lit up like a Christmas tree doing the rest of the wiring. So just make sure this is off, and you can even test the wires if you want, like I did. Electrical test to make sure they're dead. Okay, we're going to put in our cutting box and then wire up the charger. We got our cutting box installed in here, wire pulled through the connector, the 1/8" hole we drilled. We've got 2 pilot holes, 1/4 inch into a stud behind the box. Now we're just going to put the lags that Tesla gives you, screw this into the stud. 2 lags in here, and they also give you the tip for the drill to go with the lags. Now we have the connector mounted to the wall with the 2 lags, and now you just got to wire it up. You have a ground and the 2 lines here, the 2 hot lines going here. Cut your wire to length, you use the same tip that they gave you for the screws to connect these. You just tighten them down and you cut it to the right length. We have them all hooked up now where they go, line 1, line 2, and the ground. And we've inserted the zip tie they give you. That 6-gauge wire is really stiff, so they give you a zip tie so you can make it all neat in there, and it'll fit in under the head cover of the wall connector. There it is, we're wired up. So that looks nice and neat in there. Now we're ready to put the cover on. Now you're just going to slide it in to the wall mounted bracket here. That's 2 clips here and 1 down bottom. Just slide it right in there. And then on top and bottom to hold that into the wall bracket. Okay, got the faceplate back on here, all plugged in, screws in. Screws aren't fun to put in, everybody tells you that, and they're not. One modification we had to do, most of the time you see the cord wrapped around the charger, but to where we needed to mount this to get into a stud, I just put another hook on here to hang the cord on. Probably worked better anyway. So that's it, flip the breaker back on. You can see we got a green light here. Now we're going to go set it up on the app and be good to go when our Tesla gets here next week. Not that hard, saved $700. Even with the filming, it took us about 90 minutes to put in. So that's it. Be Navy.